when other people are saying that you are looking leaner or you are looking different in a better way, I think that's something that you should really trust, especially if these are coming from trusted individuals that know that they don't really bullshit you. Because think about this. You see yourself every single day in the mirror if you're that type of person. And you don't see all these little changes that your body goes through on a daily basis, even on a weekly basis. Heck, even on a monthly basis for some people, until you start seeing things that you want to see, right? But when people around you are saying, "Hey man, you look leaner, you look different. Or you look like that shirt is not so much like baggy on you anymore. Like you're filling it out.
You're glowing.
You're glowing."
You know?
Exactly.
Like your skin is so much better.
Oh,
what do you want? What do you put? What's your skincare routine?
There you go. And especially in that fashion, if somebody's saying that about you, I think you should trust it. And these are things that you should also probably put in, like, your little booklet to say like, oh, I am making progress.
What's going on, guys? This is Josh again.
This is Manny.
And we are here to discuss. We're going to go right into it. All right. What's on your mind, Manny?
So I've been thinking about client progress lately. And I've been thinking about the bigger picture goals that a lot of our clients have when first coming to see us. And in this episode, I wanted to talk about whether or not ambitious goals mitigate progress for new trainees. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, they do.
Yes. Go ahead.
I think, well, the first thing when they walk into the door is usually going to be some sort of body weight, body composition goal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, I just need to lose weight. No one goes to you is like, hey, Manny, I need to make it to the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. And I need you to get me to my utmost peak performance that I can definitely achieve. Can you do that for me?
Oh, hell yeah. People come to me asking that all the time.
This is a trainer's dream. This is like what people believe, like they think that they're going to get into. Mm-hmm. The star athlete, the NFL player that, is trying to make it big in the league. And that's what everybody thinks. They want these performance athletes. They don't walk through your doors. And if they do, you probably won't like them. The truth, look, I'm going to say it from people who work with high performance athletes. They're not the nicest people. And I say that generally. Am I saying all athletes are bad people? No, only the good ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yes, the majority of people are just average, normal people. They pay their taxes. They stay away from crime. So they have standard goals, and apparently enough, they want to hire you. They've made a good amount of money to hire your resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, to answer that question, if long-term and big picture goals mitigate client success, achieving those goals, I think that yes. It's like when you're going on a road trip. If you're thinking about the 800 miles that you have to drive, if anybody drives that far, if you think about that road trip of 800 miles, that trip is going to be horrendous. That trip just sounds like a death sentence for driving however long that's going to take. But majority of the times, I think a better strategy would be breaking that up into pieces. Maybe you want to drive for 200 miles first, probably make a pit stop somewhere, drive another 200, take another pit stop, and then so on and so forth until you get to your destination.
Or you could be that NASA astronaut who I think her husband cheated on her, and then she drove all the way from like Texas to Florida on one trip and didn't stop. She had a diaper this whole time.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I don't know. And that's all I know from the story. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I like that story.
No, but that's also some people. Some people would like to go all out and they go balls to the wall, and then they get burnout, and then they go to prison.
Well, exactly. So let's piggyback on that story that you brought up. So if you think about it, if you're doing that drive, straight shot from Texas to where?
Florida.
To Florida. You're taking that long drive, no breaks. Like there's so many things that could potentially happen, but maybe not. But most of the time, something could. You're wearing out your tires because you've been driving for so long. You run out of gas. So you just get stranded somewhere, or in general, you could just be so tired from that drive that you could potentially put yourself at harm's risk and maybe crash or end up in a ditch. So
yeah, everything needs rest, including your engine.
mm-hmm. So I think that if we can create a path for people where you have small bite-sized goals along the way that can all accumulate to the bigger goal at the end, it can be much better experience for new trainees, and also can help them and guide them to enjoy the process of what it is to have big goals, but to tackle it with little pit stops in between.
That's right.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the goals that people, or what are the goals that some people have came to you about wanting to achieve and you thought that's outrageous, but if you break that up into pieces, it's highly achievable?
First of all, they go in, they like, hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Yeah, I'm looking to get rid of this. So they grab a piece of their stomach and they just pinch a big punch. I need to get, and they go like, I need to get rid of this. Or they make these big motions like, I need this needs to go. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And he's like, I need this just to be big. But this needs to get small. You know? And that's what they say. They like, okay. Like I'm like, you know how you're making a Play-Doh? Like like a Play-Doh thing. Take a little bit off, you know, put a little bit back in, mold it a little bit. That's what they want me to do. And it's just like, oh God, all right. And or they come in with a numbers goal, or they give me a date goal. Newlyweds, newly engaged, usually come up with this. Like I'm 4 months. 4 months. We're going to Santorini, you know? That's where the wedding is. And I need a bit of my dress, all right? Or something like that. Some people have weight loss goals. I just need to lose 30 pounds. Like I was 168 back in college, and I just need you to get me back there. And like, all right, how old are you now? Like, I'm 38. I'm like, all right.
But yeah, I feel like there's so many different variables that you have to tackle with what your physique and what your training progress is now compared to what it used to be. Like some of the lifestyle factors that we can probably pinpoint is you just generally don't have as much time as you were when you were younger.
Yeah, because you had to generate enough money to hire your services.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, you know, they had to go to spreadsheets. Sometimes they have clients that they have to take out for late night meetings, and then they, you know, clients force them to drink, and then they drink a little too much, they party, they sleep less, and then they got to repeat that 3 to 4 times a week, and it's just an unhealthy lifestyle depending on what it is. So not a lot of jobs give you that freedom to sort of focus on yourself.
Right, unless you're doing fitness as a full-time job. And
even if you are.
Yes, and even if you are a personal trainer, you're not really living and breathing fitness 24/7, because majority of that time in your day, you're actually catering and servicing other people and not really lifting the weights yourself.
Manny, didn't you tell me that you worked 10 hours today?
I did.
Yeah. Like that's crazy. I haven't done 10 hours of anything since the last decade. Not straight. I think I've had like 9 or 10 sessions spread across the day. You're talking about like 5 in the morning, and I had one at 8 at night, and I didn't get home until 10:30, and I'm just so burnt out. There's no time to work. Did you work out today?
I did not.
Oh,
yeah, it was a day off. It was a day off. But I did work from 8 a.m. all the way up to 5 p.m. today, so straight.
Yeah. So perfect. even if you are in the fitness industry, you're not excluded from these lifestyles that prevent you from, hey, maybe you could have spent time middle of the day to create a salmon arugula salad, you know, with almonds.
Yeah.
So
never heard that combination before, but
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make that on the episode next time.
Okay. All right. Next one, we'll make salmon. All right. Wild caught.
So when you think about like big picture goals or all these ambitious goals that a lot of people have, do you think that a lot of people take the approach of just choosing a big number that they think they can achieve based on what they see on the internet? or they choose a number that they were at before in order to take them back in time of how they felt at that specific time.
It's a little mix of both. It's like what I used to be. Former athletes who are now weekend warriors will definitely go back into their glory days of whatever their peak was, athleticism. Like maybe in college they played a sport, but after that, life, kids, had to get a house, mortgage, and all that stuff. So they're like, hey, man, I know I can do it. I could get back to it, whatever. Or some people just have a number in their mind, and whatever this number came from, I don't know where, honestly, I don't know where it came from, but I honestly kind of blame the fitness industry because they always have these before and after pictures on
Tiki-taki.
Sure. Or even like late nights, when you go to sleep and then you wake up and then all of a sudden there's infomercials at night about people who lost weight just from like Chuck Norris's like ab wheel or Bowflex or whatever it is. Yeah. And they always like, oh my God, look at these. They lost in 28 days. They lost 30 to 40 pounds. So in some people's minds, they came up with this number based off of what we have seen, what we observed. I don't find those numbers anecdotally from the people around me, but I get it from TV, and that's what people think reality is. And there's a little difference between the two.
Yeah. I think with these ambitious goals, especially when it comes to weight loss, in theory, it sounds amazing. It sounds incredible. It sounds achievable. But in practice, it's actually incredibly difficult. And I think that's why majority of the people, especially if you are not as disciplined or A-type as the handful of people on this world, that these goals of losing 10 to 15 pounds, like looking at the number, 10 to 15 pounds might not be a lot, but in practice, losing that much weight, especially if you are not, at a super high body fat, that it's actually pretty hard to lose because there's so many different factors that you have to take into account for whenever you're trying to lose that 10 to 15 pounds, right? You have to consider good sleep, proper nutrition, doing the right exercises and actually executing them properly so that you don't hurt yourself. Because if you do hurt yourself, now you're putting yourself back in a hole where your, let's say, 10-week goal of losing 20 pounds, which is 2 pounds a week, which is aggressive, can be an L4 goal.
I got fed that. That's unlocked the core memory for me. Like in the fitness industry, in any box gym, they'll tell you, yeah, you could lose a pound a week, 2 pounds if you're really about it. And it's just like, I don't think in my experience, look, you're going to find exceptions. I've had a massive weight loss with one of our members that lost 60 pounds in a span of like 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
But this is somebody that came from nothing.
Right.
No experience with anything. And then his experience with us. And he had this massive body, change. He won our transformation contest.
Nice.
And is still a member to this day. But overall, just came with it for the longevity of it, for the vibes, as they say. But yeah, no, they get fed that. You go to any chain gym, and I think you and me have experienced this, that they say you can lose a pound a week. You can lose 2 pounds a week. And it's very pyramid scheme, It's very Amway. It's very Cutco knives.
Don't get those confused, buddy.
Yeah.
One of them takes me to work.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
One of them it takes all my money.
It's Amway, all right?
Amway.
It's Primerica. It's Cutco knives. It's all these pyramid schemes. Like, look at me, you could achieve all this stuff. And it presents you with a false sense of reality. And even the people, our fitness managers, their bosses, they feed you that shit. And it is just unrealistic for the general population. Right. You're not going to reach it.
Right.
I
think a straight answer, especially when you're trying to sell somebody training programs or a personal training package of 20 or 30 or something at that high session count, is that if you don't promise somebody that they can actually achieve what they told you to do, that they will just go to somebody else who will say that that's actually achievable to do.
Which is true.
And I think that's a big problem in the fitness industry because one, we're, setting we're promising things that we probably don't know if it actually can happen. So what I like to do now with my approach of answering questions like, hey, can I lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks? I always say, let's see. It's always let's see, because I always have to determine whether or not somebody is actually going to get there based on their habits, based on their execution of whatever strategies that they need to do in order to achieve that goal. So if somebody's already has no idea of how to eat properly or eat clean or change different kind of habits that they probably should not be doing in order to supplement their weight loss goal, then it's going to probably take a little longer, because maybe 1 or 2 weeks, you're focusing on changing different habits. And then week 3, week 4, maybe you're just trying to change different foods. And then week 5, week 6, you're just trying to get better sleep. And then by the week 6, a month and a half in, you haven't lost any weight. But you've changed a lot of different bad habits that in the long run can help you lose this even quicker.
You've created the foundations. It's sort of like that university we spoke about from last episode.
Oh, yeah, that university.
Yeah, the greatest university ever.
It was a tough university to pass.
That's
I'll tell
true.
you that.
But
acceptance rate of 20%.
But you don't go right. You don't go right into quantum physics. You got to do your basic arithmetic. You got to do your multiplication tables.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, just let me do my pluses and minus first.
Yeah, and then we go into quantum theory, right? But that's basically it. You build the foundation, and it is a little bit of a process. It's and people honestly got to buy in, and I think the most important thing is to have that conversation. Like, it's going to take some time. You're going to have some frustration along the way, and I'm going to have you expect that. So have that conversation first. Have that conversation early. And tell them, look, you might not reach your goals. It might take a year's time. It might take 2 years' time. It really depends. I had someone ask me, like, about the last High Rocks race. And it's like, Josh, do you think that I can finish a High Rocks? And then, as stoic as I am, I'll be like, well, anybody can finish a High Rocks.
You are no different than anybody else.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, of course. So if they ask, you think I can lose this weight? I'm like, yeah, sure. If you want to, anybody can lose weight. It really depends on you. It really depends on the type of individual. And, there's a thing with different, and you experience this with personal training clients, group members. Some people are attracted to different things. And if you don't give them based on their, let's say they are, they're dopamine responders, So Charles Poliquin wrote down that there's like dopamine responders or serotonin responders. And dopamine responders are those that they go full send on a lot of things and they need to have variety. God forbid you put them on a powerlifting program where you repeat the same thing over and over again, because they need variation, and they need it almost instantly.
What do you mean we're benching again? Didn't we do that twice already this week?
That's a duct tape if you know.
Just do the damn bench press, buddy.
Just either do this or not, or find someone else that was gonna lie to you that you're gonna achieve this in 28 days. There's someone else in town, in Jersey City, that will feed you all this 28-day transformation nonsense.
And it's not him.
It's not me. Because I will tell you, nah. You won't. I'll just tell you, nah.
Fam, nah. That's you.
You. Sometimes they need that. All right. There's some people who just want to, like, I'll prove you wrong. Because I know, because I'm sort of like one of those people.
I kind of like that too.
If you doubt me enough, then I'm gonna try to prove you wrong.
Like, I got you.
Sometimes a good coach knows when to push buttons, and sometimes, we'll have to lie to them a little bit. Be like, no, I don't think you will. I don't think you can achieve this. And then either one, you're proven right, or two, you're proven wrong. But they got to achieve something greater than they couldn't have.
I think you also have to be in a position to be able to say that, because if you just meet somebody for the first time, like, hey man, you think I can do this? Like, you? Nah, I don't think so.
If you're starting out, for sure, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not the goal of personal trainers. You do not want to discourage anybody from walking in that door.
If you do have a reputation and you're able to increase your rates and people know about you, they know that you're the guy that gets results, then be like, look, these are my standards. This is what I sort of demand from you. You're going to have to buy in whether you want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
I will take your money gladly, but this is a process, and it's going to be like 2 to 3 months of doing some things, building the foundation, and maybe getting zero results, maybe getting no weight loss. But you know what, Josh, my clothes fit a lot better. I'm getting more energy throughout the day. But this thing, then they start grabbing this, the fucking gut. They go in the gut and they do the circle motion again. And it's just like, it's the same conversation we had on day number 1. Mm-hmm. But everything has improved. Mm-hmm. Everything, their life has gotten better. They fixed their marriage,
They fixed their relationship with food.
Exactly. They got a raise. They have more energy to do things. They can lift up and not get injured and lift their kids and then they made friends in the gym.
They can play some recreational sports without hurting themselves.
Yeah, there you go. They play pickleball. Oh. Everyone else is injured except them. Yeah. And now they have no one to play with.
From pickleball.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah, that's exactly the different parameters or the different things that we need to be able to highlight when it comes to fitness journeys, right? We have to acknowledge that it's not always the number on the scale that is what's going to make you be successful in this.
I throw away the scale.
I like the scale. I think it depends from person to person, because people like to have objectives when it comes to numbers. Like they like seeing the weights on the barbell go up higher to determine whether or not they're getting stronger.
Agreed,
right?
Yes.
But I think there also has to be an explanation from a trainer standpoint to clients that, getting another workout in your day is actually making you stronger, because you have just that much more weight or that much more stress that you've put on your body for you to recover from. And then technically you are kind of building muscle, given you are on a decently written strength or hypertrophy program.
Yeah. I mean, you should build muscle unless you just did things wrong.
Right.
For some reason. You're not sleeping.
Right.
Or not eating enough.
Not eating.
Or you're just a drunk.
Right. There's another thing that I want to highlight when it comes to progress is that when other people are saying that you are looking leaner or you are looking different in a better way, I think that's something that you should really trust, especially if these are coming from trusted individuals that know that they don't really bullshit you. Because think about this. You see yourself every single day in the mirror, if you're that type of person, and you don't see all of these little changes that your body goes through on a daily basis, even on a weekly basis, heck, even on a monthly basis for some people, until you start seeing things that you want to see, right? But when people around you are saying, hey man, you look leaner, you look different, or you look like that shirt is not so much like baggy on you anymore, like you're filling it out.
You're glowing.
Exactly.
Like your skin is so much better. Oh, what do you want? What do you put? What's your skincare routine?
There you go. And especially in that fashion, if somebody's saying that about you, I think you should trust it. And these are things that you should also probably put in, like, your little booklet to say like, oh, I am making progress.
There you go. I mean, those remarks are kind of valuable in your mind, because everyone has body dysmorphia and everybody's parents messed them up. They're still stuck on the number. They're still stuck on the scale.
Right.
Trainers also, don't let them bullshit you. They are the most self-absorbed. And they have the most body dysmorphia out of anybody. It's facts. So yeah, basically, like you say, keep the scale. You want to have something tangible. I say throw away the scale. Don't even give them a chance. Don't I will hide the scale. I won't even throw. I will throw in the ocean myself. Like the scale. Don't even use it. It's not a It ends up in the ocean regardless.
That kind of behavior.
Yeah. It's where the mafia throws all the bodies. But that's basically, you should congratulate people, pat them on the back, and be like, oh, see, your family is telling you good things. Your coworkers, your friends, your mistress, everyone is complimenting you. So I think those are a lot more valuable than the weight on the scale.
Yeah, I don't think you should trust the word of your mistress. So
That's true. She
yeah,
just wants
yeah,
more money.
yeah, exactly. She's just bullshitting you.
Just a night out
he.
in town, you know, a nice dress.
Yeah, exactly. But so going back to progress and the way that people can move in from a lifestyle of not working out to a lifestyle of having workouts planned in your week, right? And you were talking about the dopamine driven people where
Mhm.
they're all or nothing. They need all different varieties of
The
exercise. They need to go all
ADD
in.
TikToky people who needs that those
that constant
endorphins,
swipe.
that constant, you know, you're like, what can you do for me now? You know?
Right.
Yeah, let me try this. What is it? Is this a Bosu ball? It's so cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. anyway. So going from that topic, I got lost, guys. You were talking about a Bosu ball, and I was
I apologize.
Wait, let me backtrack a little bit. Okay, so big goals. The all or nothing mentality for majority of people when embarking on their fitness journey or their weight loss journey, gaining muscle, gaining strength. Now, what would you recommend for people to actually do whenever it's coming into the gym and getting their workouts in? Is it the all or nothing mentality where you start with 5 days a week, or is it more of approach of you start slow and then you build up from it, from 2 sessions to 3 sessions to start off with, and then you try to build it up to 4 or 5?
I'll tell you what's incorrect. It's the all or nothing method. I'll give you an example, and you probably are more familiar with this, but anybody that wants to lose weight, what is the very first thing that they do?
Cut all their carbs.
No.
Oh, I got it. They do all the cardio sessions 3 hours a day.
They go running. So you'll see this, especially gyms that have like 30 treadmills for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing they hop on a treadmill. They start running, and they have this incorrect belief that running is all of a sudden gonna make me lose weight. They start running, and when they run more than that they're capable of, and they haven't ran since the Reagan administration. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sore for the next 4 or 5 days. And it's like, well, there you go. And now there is no steady progress.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say like even a high intensity class, you could go to my gym and take one of the classes. And if you haven't come from anything, this thing is going to be a shock to the system.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go casually. But if you try to go with everybody else who've been there for years, you're going to hit a wall, and then all of a sudden the body's going to pay for it. And that's not what you want to do. The goal is to find a program that can get you in at least 3 times a week.
I like that. I think 2 at minimum. 2 strength training days and 1 activity
You can
day.
get results from 2. The sweet spot is 3.
3 to 4, I believe.
3 to 4 is your minimal effective dose. I think that's the sweet spot that you should try to hit.
Right.
And you should start slow and steady. But we're Americans, Manny. You're Hawaiian, especially. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but the American way is to go all in, guns blazing, Yosemite Sam. You know. What hat? What are we talking about? We don't discuss.
Yosemite Josh.
Yeah. So we're going in guns blazing, going on that treadmill, going into the I'm going to take this class. I'm going to do kettlebell swings incorrectly. Let's go. It's guys and their ego. It never fails. It's a cool thing to watch when you go to any train gym. Is the ego lifting that happens, especially with the male population, and they just. I don't know what it is. Guys just want to push more and fail miserably. It's remarkable to see. Yeah. But that's what happens when you don't know your limits. You didn't start out slow, and then you're going all the way here, and then your body pays for it, and your lower back is at fault for the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's the 0 to 100 mentality. I think that again. I think you hit it right on the spot there with the 3 to 4 times a week over 2 times a week, because especially if you're serious about, if you're doing it casually, I think 2 times is enough. But I think if you actually want to see phenomenal progress over the years, I think 3 to 4 is a nice sweet spot because one, it allows you variety and it allows you to space out all these different workouts for you to come back the next day or the day after. I think if you're trying to cram in all the exercises into 2 days, you're left with a sore body for 2 to 3 days. And then by the time that you could have already gotten your second workout in, you're still crushed. You're still trying to recover from it. And then you come in the next day and then now you have to wait another 3 to 4 days. So personally, I think, yeah, the 3 to 4 is a nice sweet spot. If you're doing 4, maybe a Monday, Tuesday, rest Wednesday, train Thursday, Friday, and then take off on the weekdays, I think is like a very good place to start. And yeah, you can just do a traditional upper, lower split. And then maybe on a Wednesday or a Saturday, you go for long walks with friends or your dog or your cat or Josh. So
Who walks with their cat?
we do. So
You walk with your cat?
No, we don't walk with them, but they're in a bag.
Oh.
So
I thought you put them on a leash. Anyways.
yeah, we're getting there.
Jesus.
But yeah, anyway, it's with the 3 to 4, I think is like right on the money there whenever it comes to how many times you train over the week. But I think the gist of this whole segment of this podcast is not going overboard, not going like one day you say, I'm going to work on my fitness journey. And then you go outside and run 10 miles. And then the next day your knees and your ankles are just demolished. And then now you can't even work out for another month. So that whole month that you could have got 8 to 20 workouts in, now you did one and now your ego is crushed. So
easy and often should be the mantra. You should work out easy. You should work out often. And I think it's a tough pill to swallow because in this TikTok world, a lot of people don't feel if that they don't get destroyed, that it's not an effective workout. And it's really hard to change that mentality. And that's what we have come to believe because we are in this hustle culture. What we see in social media is people that just like, I did this, I work hard, no team, no sleep. You know, you got to grind. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, no, you need some rest. You need to have a steady plan. You need to follow a plan. And then you just need to stay with it. And it's just like, as best you can, whatever voice that's in your head, like, I don't think I did enough. I got to do more. You got to stop listening to that voice. You know, go seek therapy. You know, I need you to dispel your family traumas and maybe take some shrooms.
Oh, what kind of shrooms?
I don't know. This is not my field, but I do think
mushrooms or
whatever it is. That's another.
The good. The enoki kind of mushrooms.
Oh yeah. There you go. But that's the thing. It's like you gotta like maybe hire somebody that tells you what should be your minimal effective dose. That's why you have ourselves to maybe guide you into, hey, this is what it is. I'll have some clients that be like, oh, is that it? I'm just gonna run for a little bit more, and then they stick around for a little bit at the end because they felt like they didn't have good enough workout. Manny, what is it? What am I paying you for? We didn't do anything. Like, what's this gonna do? He made me do farmer carries. What's this do?
You know, it's quite interesting that you say that because right now I have one of my clients on a strength program.
What's her name?
Oh, his name.
Oh, what's his name?
I'm not putting his name out there, but you know who you are. Anyway, he's on a strength program, and I told him, like, this is not like the other block that I put you on, which is I'm going to crush you with 4 sets of 15 with 5 to 6 exercises in a day. Now we're on like 3 to 4 exercises. You're going sub max weight, which is like the most amount of weight you can probably handle safely for 4 to 6 reps. And you're just training a different system. And now, like, when I get him to do those 4 to 5 different exercises and I say, all right, this is your last set. He looks at the clock. He counts how many sets he did in his head. And he's like, that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Like, I don't believe we should add on anything more because this is not the kind of training block that we're in. We're not in this phase anymore. So yeah, I think there is a time and place where you should have sets going to 15 to 20 reps and you're doing like everything, you feel demolished. But there's also time and place for you to do 4 to 6 different exercises and only doing 4 to 8 reps.
I think it's good that you sort of set expectations, and I think it's very important to do that as a trainer, especially if you're going from one block to another block. And it's good to have that a little bit of variety. There's nothing wrong with variety.
Yep.
And if you're changing a different programming style, that at least you should tell them what to expect. I think there should be some transparency when it comes to clients and trainers relations.
Right.
That what am I in? What am I going to do? What am I expect? All right, this is it. I'm going to lay it down for you. I'm even going to show you what it is. All right, and that's it. Do this thing, and if you deviate, I will kill you.
I will fire you.
Please console your personal trainer. They have a better gauge of looking at the bigger picture versus the immediate. Like some people get nearsighted and they think they're so close to their goal, but then overall in the bigger picture don't see that like, oh, if I do this too much, I hurt myself. And that's what trainers are there for, to help guide you so that you don't burn out and you don't max out.
Right. I think that, again, there is a time and place. Like if you see somebody just on a roll, they came in the afternoon, they had all their meals, they had the best sleep, they're in the best mood, and they come in like, I want to crush this workout. I am definitely going to give that person a few more sets that day, maybe even an extra exercise with 5 more sets in there because they came in prepared. They came in ready. They came in wanting to kill the day. But again, with personal trainers, sometimes, at least for me, I'm very aware about where they are in space whenever they come in. Because if they're coming in, eye bags, droopy, I didn't have anything to eat, I have no caffeine in my system, but I want a really good workout, Manny.
All right.
I'm like, all right. And then I either tell them, nope, I am not doing that. Or I just lie to them saying yes, and I take things slow. Because again, we're all here for their safety, right? We're here for your progress. We're here to keep you safe. We're not here just to, as masochists, trying to kill you and hurt you and
Some are.
Some are.
They shouldn't, because that's actually bad practice. It's like if they burn out, get injured, they can't come back.
There is a business in Jersey City that is just well known that people go to this certain place and then come back and they're like, yeah, whatever it is, just keep adding more weight, add more sets, and every time like
PR, baby. PR.
And like I got people like coming in like a little injured, like I got shoulder achy. Yeah, like I was like, well, now you got learning now. So something you learn from that, too.
Right? And to piggyback off that, this is something phenomenal that I've heard that makes a lot of sense to me. Where the gains that you make as a newbie beginner, let's say 1 to 6 months, depending on how many times you train in a week, versus 6 months to a year versus a year and beyond, your progress is going to look so different. Because think about this. First, you come in, you learn how to do a squat. You're doing a kettlebell squat with 12 kg. You do it for a set of 8. Yeah, it was like pretty tough. It was pretty okay, maybe. I could have done like 5 more. And then you're still learning on how to squat. You're learning how to bend your knees, push your hips down, brace your abs at the same time, and come out of that hole. You come back 3 days later, you put 16 kg on. You do that set. Like, oh, that was pretty easy. Like, you have already increased so much weight. And then by next week, you're already hitting 24 kg for a set of 8. That's 100% increase of volume. Something like that, when you're on your first, second, or third year of seriously weightlifting, will put you in a coffin. So that's something that you should be mindful of. It's like when you are still a newbie beginner and making phenomenal progress when it comes to numbers, cherish that moment, because that's not going to last long. Because in the beginning, when you are learning these different skills of how to execute an exercise, trainers, especially good trainers, should always put you in a position to succeed with something that is manageable to lift and is absolutely not going to hurt you. And then later down the line, 3 months later, when you've been very good at deadlifting, squatting, benching, and then you kind of figure out what's the actual load that you can manage.
Yeah.
So
it's like watching Godfather for the first time.
Okay.
Or Star Wars.
Okay.
That's it. No, when you watch something,
I thought you were gonna make a story.
Let me explain. When you watch something for the first time, Especially when you see somebody watch something for the first time, it's their first time, and it's remarkable when you see it, right? And it's like, oh my God, and they're like so enamored by the greatness that they're watching, and that's what the first couple weeks of training are like. And then after a while, you've seen the same movie over and over, you sort of know what to expect, and nothing's of a surprise to you anymore, and the progress sort of like, it's a little bit of a lull. You'll hit walls or whatever. Like you like the same movie, but there's so many times you can watch Independence Day over and over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
But you guys get it.
I wanted to see where you're going to go with that story, but there you go.
But no, it's like, you ever have clients that come back over the weekend like, oh man, someone's really achy. Like, what'd you do? And they did some bullshit over the weekend. Like they mountain biked, they did some stupid class in the city.
Played some softball.
Yeah. And then and then they come to you and I'm like, oh man, I was supposed to be your guiding light. I was supposed to be the one that gets you from here to there. But people have lives. You got to account for that.
Right. And I think you should always encourage people to do activity, because I think that's ultimately what people are wanting to get out of their training, is to have a stronger and more able injury preventive, or a body that is more injury free, so that they can enjoy things that they can do over the day. And I think that, sure, things like that, like injury happens or tweaks in the shoulder, low back from a wrong movement. But I think that if we can constantly teach people these different movements and exercises, and also explain why we're doing things, that they can transfer anything that they do in the gym to their real life and stay away from injury.
Well said. And that is the goal, guys. You need to trust us and no one else. Okay.
Especially with this guy's hat. Yeah, if he's not pulling up to your session like this,
he might look sus.
But
you can trust him.
Yeah. Very sus.
I have an immaculate 5-star Google review, so
nothing suspicious.
Exactly.
About that.
Don't search least viewed stars.
Yeah.
Also,
don't look at the.
Don't read those.
reviews.
Don't read those. Only
those are hoax.
Yeah,
those are.
Those are
fake
not.
news.
That's just fake news.
Yeah, those are haters.
But yes, those are bots, or
AI.
yeah, or they're Gen Z. One of those. What do they know? But yeah, all right.
Anything else you wanted to add on this episode before we wrap it up?
Nothing. I think Olympics are coming up, so I feel like in the next couple shows that we are going to talk about some things about the Olympics, about sports and hobbies. So stay tuned for that. And we got a host.
Oh,
I'm a host.
Whoa,
we're a host. We have
you switching me out.
A guest. Sorry.
A guest.
Sorry. That we are hosting. That's what I meant to say. English was not my first language.
If you do not see me on the next episode, you know what it meant.
Yes. Make sure you keep your AirTag with you so they know where to find you. But yeah, we will have a guest to come in, and we will have more guests in the future. I think this is very exciting times. I think like in our growth, we will have some very interesting people that will give them their insight. It's not just mine. It's not just Manny. It's not just Haley's. It's other people with crazy ideas, man.
That's how the world is.
That's right. We're going into like the deep webs, and crazy conspiracy theories. So stay tuned for that, guys. Very exciting things.
And that's it. Peace out, guys.